Well, let's bring in now an international affairs analyst joining us via Skype from Washington, D.C., Rasheedah Thomas, to talk more on the president's visits in the U.S. Rasheedah, good to have you on TVC Media News. It appears there's a lot to look forward to today from this very critical meeting, but how critical is it really? What are your expectations from this visit?
Well, I'm not expecting actually that the human rights issues is the crux of the meeting today. I think that the Trump administration has shown that when it comes to relationships with our international partners, democracy, the consolidation of democracy, and the protection of human rights are not priorities that are more important than the main priorities of the United States, which are economic growth and the fight against terrorism. So I doubt that it becomes a huge issue in the talks today, even though that the State Department's recent human rights report wasn't received well by Nigerians.
And about the Tucano jets the president's purchased from the U.S., do you expect clarifications about the matter today? Because there's still a lot of rumors and a lot of talks, dust having raised about the issue here. People are saying it's an impeachable offense from the president not to have sought for approval first before going ahead to purchase the fighter jets.
I don't think that it's an issue that President Trump is going to really get into. I think that he is going to spend his time today with President Buhari talking about the fact that Nigeria is such a major partner to the United States, and particularly for economic and security partnerships. I think that they'll talk about security and anti-terrorism cooperation, but I really don't think that they will spend much time talking about his issues with his own people at home and the recent human rights report.
Okay, and then talking about security, do you expect them to delve into the herdsmen-farmers clashes going on? The Ijaw Youth Council is urging the president to seek foreign assistance from President Trump to fight, to end the clashes.
I think that the conversations will probably be very high level. I think that President Trump will spend a lot of time today trying to help repair the relationship that his unfortunate comments earlier this year made a kind of a rift, and also the fact that Secretary Tillerson was supposed to visit Nigeria and did not. I think that just the fact that the very first African head of state to have an official White House visit is President Buhari is a very good sign that he's going to have his very first state visit with Africa's most populous country and biggest economic center. I think that is where it will definitely be most emphasized today.
Indeed, Rasheedah, it's a landmark event. And then going forward, how will this visits affect the cordiality, diplomatic relationship between the U.S. and Nigeria?
Well, I think it really depends on the interactions between President Trump and President Buhari today. If I were speaking directly to President Buhari, I would say to really concentrate on building that relationship. Last week, President Macron showed that if you show how much you really like President Trump, then the visit will go quite well. So I think that he should indulge in that very long handshake that President Trump is famous for. I think that that will provide a platform for him to really explain the real issues happening in Nigeria with clarity, because President Trump can often be persuaded by a convincing argument from someone he feels has a friendship with, someone he feels very much respects him and adores him.
Rasheedah, these are two leaders that are known to have very tough stances when they are opinionated about certain issues. Going forward, is there anything you expect the U.S. to benefit from this visit and, of course, from Nigeria?
Well, I think that Americans' biggest interests are economic and anti-terrorism, and I think that with the sale of the jets, I think that Trump has shown that this is a huge priority for him. So I think that establishing those kind of economic relationships and making sure that we really do have that cooperation with anti-terrorism, I think that will be the basis of our relationship moving forward.
And then before you go, let's have you assess how receptive the president has been so far. There have been diverse opinions about how the president's administration has been in the past couple of years. And then 2019, next year, is just around the corner. We'll be having another election. How do you assess how the president has received both the good and the bad, even the ugly, from Nigerians?
Well, I can give you the American perspective. I think that since there was a peaceful transfer of power in Nigeria, that is a huge that speaks highly about Nigeria to Americans and to the American policymakers here. And I think that as long as this meeting goes well today, I think he will probably have in year elections next year, I think that he will probably have the support of the United States and President Trump.
Right. Rasheedah Thomas, thank you very much for joining us on the Media News. Thank you.
Thank you.